guest dogs will last. Okay, think I got everything.
So I can.
All right, there we go. We're good. We are good to go. So, guest dog and Joan. Got some treats for you. Let's crack these open. These feel like something Joan can gum. Open them up to celebrate the return of guest dog. Oh, these are they're like almost like brownies for you guys. All right, I got to do this exactly right. Here's yours. It's truffle, everyone. Here's Jones. Here, I'll break Jones in half, so they're a little smaller for you. But good doggies. Okay. I'll let Joan have hers. All right, Joan's gumming it. Yeah, not quite in your mouth. Let me help. Here. Here, Joan. There you go. Getting an early start. Yeah, try even smaller piece. Jeez. Poor Joan. Poor Joan. No teeth, Joan. There you go. Real tiny there. Oh, you just spit that one right out. Do you not like these? All right. They're there if you want them. Don't you eat them, Truff. I know you. You'll stick your head right over there and eat them. Hi, everyone. Sorry. I'm way early. Oh, Ryan's here. Hi, Ryan. Hey. I didn't think anybody'd be here already. Oh, man. I am dragging so much. And it's because of this dog right here, Truffle. This is Truffle, my brother and sister-in-law's dog. And Truffle got me up 5 times last night. 5 times, all different hours. So I'm like fried because I kept getting up, taking her to the backyard, waiting for her to go, and then coming back and trying to get back to sleep. I can usually sleep. Ryan, I am. He asked me how I am doing. I'm fried. So, because I just didn't get enough sleep. Let Joan eat her own treats because of this one. And so I'm trying to guzzle down a ton of caffeine, trying to wake up. And man. So I usually sleep through the night, but if I keep getting woken up, I can't go back to sleep right away. It takes me that wind up every time. I don't know if you're like that. I am. Like I have to get in the right position. Like everything has to come align, and then finally I go to sleep. But once I'm asleep, I'll usually stay asleep unless the dog wakes me up by going or just jumping out of bed, saying, "Hey, better let me outside before I pee everywhere," right? And hey, what did I say? Leave her treats alone. They're all gone anyway. This is what I got to put up with. It's like having kids. Anyhow, other than that, I'm doing fine. I went to Geek Fest today, and that was over in Woodbury Heights, New Jersey. It's a high school. It was held at the it wasn't. It's not a high school. The organization was held in a high school, and they had a really good turnout. Now I didn't get a table there, but I was lucky because I gave my talk, and then I said, well, I couldn't, I didn't get a table, but I brought my books with me, so I'm over at the parking space. If anybody wants to follow me out to the car and get a book, goodbye, Trouble. And so a bunch of people did, and I sold a bunch of books anyway. So it was a pretty good day for me. Even if I had just come there and sold that many books, it would have been an okay day. So bravo for me. Bravo for me, Little Joan. All right, Truffle's going to sleep on the floor. She likes the floor. She likes it nice and cool. She runs a little hot. So today's live stream, I moved it because tomorrow's Easter, and I'm doing family things, and it's Easter. It's Easter. You guys should be doing family things. What are you doing, Ryan? You doing something nice for Easter, I hope? eating some chocolate, going to see the family or something. I'm not religious. My family's not really religious, but we celebrate the regular holidays, I'll say. If you're in America and you're at least used to be Christian. So we do Easter, Christmas. We don't do a lot. We don't go to church. Oh, good. Ryan's doing something. We're all about the food in my family. All about the food. At Easter, the Italian bakeries make all kinds of crazy breads that you only get at that time of year. They make this bread with hard-boiled eggs in it. I never quite understood that. And they just bake them in there somehow. I think they make the eggs ahead of time, but I'm not sure. They also make this, it's like this sweet bread with a glaze on it. And that's okay. I don't know. Typically I don't like breads that are sweet. I like breads for a sandwich. The egg bread doesn't really make a good sandwich either, but it's, it's like something you could eat with like a meal, I guess. And then I guess you eat the egg too. I don't know. What, Joan? You want to come over here? This is the pregame until we get to 7. I'm gonna try to just hang out a little bit, see if anybody else shows up today. Yeah, Easter. Don't go to church. My mother tried to impose ham on us year in and year out on Easter. That's a thing you're supposed to eat, I guess, on Easter, and we always hated it because I'm not a big ham guy. Once in a while, I'm like, oh, this is okay, ham. But more often than not, I'm like, ham. Ham? No, thank you. I'd rather have fish than ham. And I'm not a huge fish guy either, unless it's sushi, which hits the top of the list for me. So we wouldn't be super Italian on Easter. Christmas Eve is when we go. We go full Italian. And we do the Feast of the Seven Fishes and go hog wild on Christmas. Easter's kind of like, eh. So me and my family, or two of my older relatives, we're gonna go out. And the rest of the family's off doing various things. Sometimes that happens. It's always a weird thing to me. For a while I was doing that because when I was married, if you're not married, this is a thing. You sort of split the holidays like you're divorced. Where do I live in New Jersey? Asked Ryan. I live in South Jersey, near, I'll say, I don't want to give you the specific place, but I will say near the Cherry Hill area. JEC, hi. He didn't say that, but I remember JEC. He is heading to a family thing. Happy Easter, Tony. Yes, happy Easter to you. What else is on Easter? Oh, there is the it's like this ham pie thing with egg. That's pretty good. I enjoy that, but it feels like more of a breakfast thing. But it's good. And then there's like the ham calzones. I guess because they've got ham in it and everybody's eating ham that day. I don't get it. It's supposed to be, there's some fasting in that mix. I don't know. I read about fasting in the Catholic Church, and it was kind of extreme, and Italian Americans kind of like took the fasting part out of the fasting. We just substitute. Well, we're not going to eat meat. Oh, okay. So you're going to eat? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to eat. We're just not going to eat meat. Just not going to eat anything super heavy. We'll just eat a lot of everything else because it's a holiday. So obviously we have tons of pastas and whatnot. So, but yeah. So the weird thing, like when you have in-laws and you're married, you end up splitting your time like you're in a divorced couple between, switching your kids off and on. So you go one holiday with one set of in-laws, the next holiday with the other set of in-laws, and then you tend to like flop back and forth, depending. Like Christmas Eve's like the big holiday in my family, so we always did Christmas Eve at my parents. But like Easter was one of those ones we'd flip back and forth, and it was fine. It was fine, right, doggy? Doggy experienced those days for a short time, right, doggy? Oh, she is dealing okay with the other dog being around, but the dogs get very jealous of each other. If you've ever experienced the meeting of the minds when it's two dogs, you know what happens there. Oh, you gave him a treat, give me a treat. Yeah, you filled that water ball first. What the hell, and so forth. Right, Joan? So Joan is. See how affectionate Joan is now because I dared to pet Truffle. Now she's like, oh, and Truffle marched out of the room, kind of in a funk. All right, are we at 7? Yes, we're at 7. Time to begin. Time to begin. Hollywoke hot take live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. I've gabbed trends up just because I didn't want to give away the first headline, which is this. Arnold Schwarzenegger apologizes for "screw your freedom" comments. I should have communicated better. Yeah, no S, Arnold. No S. So he has apologized. I don't think it's quite enough. I really don't. Because it was quite a betrayal to have him say something like that. You know, he was Mr. America, waving the flag, doing patriotic things, a Republican, allegedly. So when he said that, I was quite taken aback that he would say anything like that. And that he didn't apologize much, much sooner, like as in the next day. Like if he had apologized the next day and said, oh, I shouldn't have said it that way, I would believe like he kind of slipped up. But yeah, this is a little much for me. I think he needs to do some kind of, I don't know, super huge American hoedown thing to make up for it. Something freedom loving. I think he needs to donate some money to some freedom caucus or whatever. He probably won't, but I think that's what he should do. I'm still very disappointed in Arnold for doing that. But all right, Joan's out. Everybody say bye to Joan. Bye, Joan. There you go. All right. Don't start distracting me, Joan, with your barking. So yeah, and it shows up in Generation Iron Fitness Network website. So like Arnold can't even get press anymore, really. Like this, it showed up here. This is April 7th, yesterday, and in one other fitness-related publication. It's like, why wouldn't this be in the newspaper? It certainly would have been back in the 80s, but it's weird. It's weird how things change. Now, you're telling me Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't a big enough celebrity for you to cover something like this? It's weird. Weird. Don't get me wrong, he's not A-list anymore, but still, the guy's worldwide. Huge. Anyhow, speaking of huge, Mario Brothers is huge. Now, I got Friday numbers here from The Numbers. And it is huge. Here it's, as of Friday, 147 million. But the top story at Variety is projecting it much higher. Another 55 million on Friday, powering up to the biggest animated global opening ever. Wednesday, the film had already earned 137 million in domestic ticket sales. Replace every dollar with a coin, that would amount to 1.37 one-up mushrooms. Ha ha ha. Universal and Illumination Film is still on track for 195 million opening in North America for over the 5-day Easter weekend time frame, way ahead of the 150 million projections that were being reported at the beginning of the week. Even more impressive, Super Mario Bros. Now looks to leap to 68 million global debut, the biggest ever opening for an animated feature. The current record holder is 2019's Frozen 2, which earned 358 million over a traditional 3-day window. That's pretty damn good. So, yeah, I think this will cruise. I agree with Yellow Flash. He said this will cruise to $1 billion easily. I think so, yeah. I mean, basically, you've made $500 million in a weekend almost. I think they may crack 400 million at the rate they're going. I mean, we do not have Saturday's numbers yet. So, people are loving the movie. The critics tried to pan it. Now, this is a screen. I had to get a screenshot because Rotten Tomatoes isn't working very well. It's actually up to 56% on the tomato meter for critics, and but it's 96% for the audience. So the critics, I think, and again, I agree with Yellow Flash and a few others on this. I think the critics tried to review bomb this because, I don't know, they're a bunch of soy latte idiots who walk around like sheep, afraid to criticize anything unless it's okay to be criticized. So they're criticizing the Mario Brothers movie. I don't know if they like it or not. I don't know if any real critic for a living likes anything, because I think they're too beholden to their job. And when it comes to, either bowing to the studio or bowing to political pressure, I think they go like that because they have no real credibility in the world. Nobody follows critics anymore. Not really. Not since Siskel and Ebert. They were like the last two big ones, really. I guess there are a couple more. I like The Critical Drinker. I think he's fun. I did like Half in the Bag, the guys at Red Letter Media. They drone on and on a little too much for me, but, the YouTubers I find tend to be more honest, unless you got one of those shill YouTubers. Even Jeremy at the Quartering, I don't think we have similar movie taste, but I can at least gauge the movie based on whether or not he likes it. That's kind of what you need to do. When you listen to a critic, it's not that you're going to find a critic who has your exact taste. It's like you're going to gauge whether or not you're going to like the movie too, based on kind of what they like. That's what you should do. Not like, oh, I didn't like this movie, that critic's stupid. No, that's not the way it works. You got to see what they like. Like, I like genre movies with robots and monsters and things like that. I also like gangster movies and comedies. So those are my wheelhouse movies. So for me to review a romance, if I like it, it must be amazing. Or it's probably like one of the other movies I just mentioned. Now for me, Mario Brothers, I don't have much interest in it because I don't think video game movies tend to be all that great. And I think it's just going to be a 2-hour commercial for Nintendo. But it's not really aimed at me. It's more of a kid's movie. So I think it'll be harmless. It appears not to be woke, although there was some girl boss talk right in the beginning. But that may have been some sort of misleading distraction in order to kind of, I don't know, bait the woke critics, maybe? I don't know. Everybody's saying, no, that the girl boss stuff really doesn't play. Like, she takes second banana and Mario is the hero. So, good. I may go see it despite these people. And plus, I hear it's a good movie. People seem to like it. I mean, I know I did play Mario Brothers, so I don't think I would hate it. It's just, to me, it feels weird paying to see video game characters, I might just wait for like some sort of, I don't know, what streaming service would this be on? I guess it definitely wouldn't be on Disney. Would it be? It wouldn't be on HBO Max. Does Universal have a streaming service? Paramount, HBO Max. I guess it would be on Amazon. Not that they own it, but so sure, why not? Or maybe I'll break and go to the movies. Last time I got a senior discount. Yeah, I'm not proud. I used to get senior discounts all the time when they put in the kiosk. Excuse me, in the movie theater, where you punch in your own ticket. You can punch in anything you want. You could say you're a senior. You could say you're a little kid. Yeah, I got all sorts of discounts. I didn't put in I was a little kid, but I did give myself the senior discount all the time. Yeah. Hey, you think going gray is all bad? You're wrong. You're wrong. I wish I could get a senior discount for the damn popcorn, though. Jesus. That stuff's just too much money. I just smuggle food in. You know, when it's wintertime, I wear a big poofy jacket and I fill it full of food and go in there. I smuggled the pizza in one time. Nice warm pizza. Oh, that was a good time. That was a good movie. I don't even remember what movie it was, but that was a good time. And then the best was there was this movie theater near me. I think it's still there. I think they have a Chinese food place. It's literally like right outside where the ticket booth is. And I ran over there and got some dumplings. I just walked in with them. Nobody stopped me. And I watched the movie and had my dumplings. Oh, that was good. That's the kind of food, you know, if they somehow got that in movie theaters, I think people would buy it, you know, if you charged a reasonable price for it. And I think people would be happy for that. I mean, there'd be trash like no tomorrow, I assume, but they need to come up with a new plan on that, by the way, because if they do start serving regular food in these places, yeah, throwing your trash on the floor, that'll be a mess and a half. The worst was this one movie theater. They were famous for having nacho cheese and chips, and they would give you like a ridiculous amount of nacho cheese because I don't know why they got these plastic trays and they had like a giant cup, and the kids working there would fill it with nacho cheese. Now I would never get it because it was even too disgusting for me, and I like those kinds of greasy foods. But my God, I took one look at that with the jalapenos floating in it, and the oil coming off of it, and I was just like, no. But people would get it, and you never quite had enough nachos to finish the cheese, or the cheese is kind of disgusting, and maybe after 3 or 4 bites you'd be like, I think I'm going to skip the cheese. And then you'd have this giant cup of cheese in a plastic tray, which you would either throw on the floor if you were a total animal, or you'd do what most people would do, you'd put it under your seat, and then you'd kind of forget about it. Rather than getting up in the middle of the movie and throwing it out, because there's never a trash can in a close by or anything. And then you had this rash of people like stepping in nacho cheese at this one theater. People dropping their purses in it. And the worst, of course, was the cleanup crew would come in, clean up from the previous movie, and then miss nacho cheese. So then there'd be nacho cheese from the previous movie on the floor. Or worse, like a whole tray would flip over and you'd just get this streak of nacho cheese as it went down like 4 or 5 rows. And, what did I step in? In the movie theater. I'm inside and I stepped in something. It's nacho cheese and jalapenos. Gross. On your shoes. Anyhow. That would be the issue if you suddenly started doing dumplings and everything else I want to eat in the movies. I think you could work it, though. I think you could create enough food that would be portable just enough that people could eat it and not make too much of a mess. What you'd want is like the pizza cone, right? You ever see the pizza cone? I don't really know how those eat, but the idea is it's like an ice cream cone of pizza. And then the cheese is inside it, and you kind of like nibble on the sides, I guess, and then burn your lips. I guess if it cools off, you could probably handle that, but something like that. You know, wraps maybe. Something you'd eat, like a cone, and then, you know, you'd have a small container, and then you'd eat most of it, and then the rest you kind of like fold into itself, and then you'd be able to hopefully throw it out Again, people are animals at the movie theater. They just throw stuff on the floor. But even if you threw it on the floor, it would be self-contained enough that, the cleanup guys could come in and sweep it up. They'd also need to sell booze at the movie theater. Absolutely. 100%. Because people would enjoy the movie more, number one. And number two, you can charge all kinds of crazy prices. People are ridiculous when it comes to booze, right? I mean, they go to a concert and they pay God knows how much for a beer. I need a beer. I need a beer. I could wait 4 hours until after the concert, but no. I'm going to have it in the hot sun right now, and it's going to be a Miller Lite that tastes like water and sadness. And I'm going to pay $14 for it, but I don't care. But you could charge something, not that much, but something. In New Jersey, you got to have a liquor license, though, so that's another whole issue. But anyhow, Mario Brothers doing well. Doing well. I may go see this. I may. Number 2, Dungeons and Dragons. Again, this is Friday numbers, so I guess this is going to hold at number 2. What the hell did this do? 85 million worldwide. I don't know if that's money. There was a lot of effects in this movie. I've heard mixed things about it, but I don't know. They kind of turned me off on the movie because of their woke nonsense. It's probably less woke than the game. It sounds at least less woke than that. But yeah, I don't know. It's it looks like a watered down version of Vox Machina, which is a pretty good cartoon if you haven't seen it. If you're into Dungeons and Dragons, I would watch that before I'd watch this. That was pretty decent. John Wick Chapter 4 did okay. This is the highest grossing of the 4, which I'm shocked at. 259 million. I thought the first 2 did better than that, but apparently not. Although they did raise the ticket prices, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty good, but it looks like it's dropping. Again, this is Friday. Dropping pretty steadily. I mean, it's at 4.8 million, just like D&D. But that's something. That's not too bad. Scream 6 is at number 4. Was at number 5 last week. Did 156 million. This movie. No thank you. 1.2 million. His Only Son from Angel Studios did $1 million. That's fairly impressive for a religious movie. That's 8.7 million, and it did $1 million this in a Friday. That ain't bad. This is This is the second weekend, so tomorrow, and actually Sunday. Now that I think about it, I might pick up a decent amount of money because it's a religious movie, right? So the pitch would be something like, "Hey, you want to go to the movies? Can't go to the movies. It's Easter. Well, what if we go see a religious movie?" Oh, I guess we could do that. I guess Mom couldn't object to that. Mom, you want to go see His Only Son? You want to go to the movies on Easter? Yeah, but it's a religious movie. Oh, all right. Shazam! Fury of the Gods did 600,000. Oof! I say to that. It's hanging on, but man, when you get beat by a religious movie, even though this has been out a lot longer, I mean, it's only at 122 million. They say this lost 150 million dollars. I think I can believe it. I mean, you had some big name actresses. They don't go cheap. There were a lot of effects. They had a large cast, more effects. It's a shame. I mean, I do really like the first movie. I think part of the problem is who they cast, though. as the villains. I don't think the villains were, Black Adam is the villain for Shazam. I think they needed something big, you know, something more recognizable for the normies. I think the two characters were gods. I think they needed, if you were going to fight gods and do a whole Shazam thing, I think you needed a god like Zeus or, something like that. You needed something so big and mythical he kind of stood on his own. But, yeah, it's a shame. Also, too, I don't know if you ever followed the original Shazam comic or Captain Marvel. It does really drill down into Billy Batson's background, being a foster kid, and there's this whole subplot of him having an inheritance that he's cheated out of by I don't know if he's a relative or someone who adopts him or something. But this is a really old comic, so it took place like in the 30s, where stuff like that was more likely to happen. But I mean, I think it still could have been made to work in the modern day, but I don't know if people would have been interested in that, because some of the old comics were a little bit more like serials. They were a little more like radio, old time radio. So I'm not sure it would have translated into a movie, but that seems to be gone from the movie. And then, of course, it did have some woke stuff, but it didn't seem to have a lot of it. They had some character announce that he's gay, but it was kind of I've heard Yellow Flash said it was a funny line, but it seems so unnecessary. And again, I've been saying this in my videos, the anti-woke is on the rise, right? It was cool to virtue signal. That has jumped the shark. I think it's official now. I think with this Budweiser thing and Dylan Mulvaney, that's it. We've officially jumped the shark on virtue signaling and being woke. It is now officially uncool to do that. So what will replace it? I think what will replace it will be people making fun of the woke. The anti-woke. People like myself and Jeremy and YouTubers like that making fun of it will supplant that. So other people will start to pile on now. Other people will start to say, oh, that's woke, I'm not interested. And what that creates is an atmosphere in which you see something on a movie or TV show commercial about the show, and there's one tiny element that either is woke or could be construed as woke, and then they're going to go, oh, no, I'm not seeing that. And that, I think, partly was responsible for Shazam's lack of success. I think most of it was on James Gunn shooting his mouth off and saying way too much, but I think that was the majority of it, in fact, but I think that was an impact too. And I think that's what we're going to see going forward. I think Blue Beetle's going to be in big trouble, because that friggin' line at the end of the trailer. Have you guys seen the Blue Beetle trailer, by the way? I did a huge rant on it. I cannot believe they would put that in a trailer in a DCU movie. To have a character say Batman is a fascist, even jokingly, even though that goes with his character, to put that in the trailer is just shooting yourself right in the foot. Especially with a character like Blue Beetle that people barely know. They barely know that character, if they know it at all. Some of the comic guys know him, but like, oh, he's the Latino superhero, therefore you'll love him. It's just not true. It's not the way it works. Fandom doesn't work that way. Moving on to Champions. This was that Woody Harrelson movie with Caitlin Olsen. 190,000. Well, this is Friday, so can't balk at the numbers too much. But worldwide, this thing only made $17 million. That is not money. I would say this movie costs, it would probably cost at least 20 to 30 million And that would be pretty low budget for a feature, including Woody Harrelson and Caitlin Olsen. Caitlin Olsen isn't a no name. Yeah, she's more of a TV actress, but Woody Harrelson, come on, that could just pay his salary. Plus, I mean, they have a lot of characters in it, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of special needs kids in it. I'm not sure how that works in terms of the pay. Are they in union? I guess they're union. I guess they all get paid. You know, they're all kind of main characters, so I don't know if that costs them more money to shoot for some reason, because maybe they need a guardian on set, you know? They probably do, I would imagine. 1001. Which one was this? I forget. 1001. Oh, okay. This is a story. That's a weird poster, man. This is the story of a mother in the inner city trying to save her son and getting her life back in order. It's an urban drama. 2.5 million. Not money. Definitely not money. It definitely costs more than that. But, I mean, it probably didn't cost more than 10 million, I'll say. No big names in it or anything. Avatar, Way of the Water, still out. $147,000. 65. Spaceman versus Dinosaurs, as I like to call it. 55 million worldwide. I don't know why they made a movie like that. It just seemed to come out of nowhere. It's like Hollywood, woke thing, another woke thing, here's more woke thing, and here's another woke thing, and here's 65. Like, okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania, 111,000. This supposedly lost money. I don't know. 467 million worldwide. I guess it's possible. It did run over, it seemed. Has a lot of effects, a lot of terrible effects from what I've seen. A lot of big names in it. So, I guess. I mean, I could see this movie costing $450 million to make. Maybe $500 million. With all the advertising and such. So, that's sort of break even, which, that's not good. That's not good. You don't make movies to break even. Puss in Boots, still in theaters. I hear this is really good. 480 million. So another hit not owned by Disney. Disney they are eating your lunch, Disney, as they say in the biz. They're eating your lunch. This should have all been Disney's money, and could have been, if they weren't woke-tarded. It's very sad when people go woke-tard and go completely woke-tarded. But Disney is there, and we're going to get into how woke-tarded Star Wars sounds. Cocaine Bear, $71,000. Still had such potential. 85 mil. I think that's a hit. I mean, they're acting like it's a hit, so get ready for Cocaine Bear 2, I guess, which will probably be a freaking disaster. I hope Elizabeth Banks, if there is a sequel, directs the sequel. I hope they make her direct the sequel. And Violent Night. Some people say this is good. I mean, I don't know. I can't stomach David Arbor anymore. And John Leguizamo. I'm done with him too. Another one. Won't shut up. It's like John Leguizamo going on and on about Mario Brothers is so bizarre to me. First off, I'm Italian. Mario and Luigi are Italian. John Leguizamo culturally appropriated my culture. He's got a lot of nerve standing up and said, "Why aren't there Latinos cast?" In a movie like the old Super Mario Brothers movie, or whatever it was called, with Bob Hoskins. Nobody talks about Hoskins. By the way, a great actor who I don't know. I don't know why he got roped into doing that movie. I guess he was hot after a while because he had done some big movies after Roger Rabbit, and then that was sort of like, I think that was the downslide of Hoskins when the sheen had kind of gone off his star, and then he was just doing movies for money, I guess. But he did this one messed up movie. He's basically like a serial killer, and he watches Julia Child. Or no, his mother was a character like Julia Child that had a cooking show. And then he was like, he would cook these elaborate meals for himself and watch his mother's old TV shows. And then it's about him. It's a really good movie. I forget what the hell it's called. Ardent, Happy Easter. Hail, Happy Easter from me and Stormy. Happy Easter to you. Oh God, it's been so long. Anyhow, he's killed a bunch of people. I'm sure JC, he always is on it. I bet he's Googling it right now. Ardent, just watched the 90 cut of Nightbreed. Yeah, I vaguely remember that movie. I don't think I saw it. I remember the trailer, kind of. Anyhow, he's a serial killer, and then he's gonna kill this girl, but then she confesses to him that she's pregnant, and then he tries to talk her into an abortion, which is somehow worse. It's a really interesting film. You got to check it out when you get a chance, and it's messed up. It's just a mess, and he plays this messed up character. And that was before Roger Rabbit. I think that was the movie that put him kind of on the map enough so he could be hired for Roger Rabbit. All right, I'm going to look it up. I'll look up Bob Hoskins. Let's see. How long's he been dead? He's been dead a while. 2014. All right, let's see. Yeah, and he was in movies all the way up until the end. Going way back now. Going way back. Full House. He was an English actor, so he's in a lot of other stuff. Ardent, it was terrible, but in a bad, good way. The Nightbreed movie he's referring to. Pennies from Heaven. Zulu Dawn. Huh. 1979. No, it was in the 80s. I know that. He's in Pink Floyd The Wall? I didn't know that. Lassiter. Sweet Liberty. Mona Lisa. No. There's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I could have sworn it was before that. Oh, he was in Brazil. That's right. Cotton Club. What the hell was the name of this movie? Man, he was in a lot of stuff. I can't remember it. Man, it was really old. I'm going way back now. Crown Court. No. God, I don't see it here. JEC didn't come up with the answer. He almost always comes up with the answer. It was after Roger Rabbit? Heart Condition. Oh, God. That was that movie with Denzel Washington. So stupid. Hook, Passed Away, Blue Ice. There's Super Mario Brothers, 1993. I could have sworn it was before all that, though. Yeah, I don't see it here. I can't remember the title. It was like a one name. Oh, here it is. Felicia's Journey. That was it. 1999 that was? Oh, that was much later. This movie's messed up. It is a messed up movie. But it's good. It's good. Ardent, didn't Bob Hoskins do a movie with Jet Li, Unleashed? Let's see. Felicia's Journey was 1999, huh? I could have sworn that was earlier, but too old. Too old to remember things. Don Quixote, Enemy at the Gates, Hollywoodland, Outlaw, Christmas Carol, Pinocchio. Man, he was in everything. Neverland. That sounds like the that's the second. He was in Hook and Neverland. The second Peter Pan thing. I don't see Unleashed here, but he was in a lot of stuff. Good actor. Good actor. I think that was it for the numbers. Yeah, we only got the Friday numbers. So the Super Mario Brothers, again, could just be money in the bank. Absolute money. Wonder how much it cost to make. I got to think a lot. It looks great. A lot of big names in it. I really hate that Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, though. I don't know what they were thinking with that kind of casting. I mean, I kind of understand Chris Pratt just because they wanted the biggest guy. I mean, and if you're going to cast celebrities, sure. But, like, Donkey Kong? Seth Rogen. I wouldn't think he was Seth Rogen. If anything, I would pick him as, like, Luigi or a comedic character. And, like, Donkey Kong, I don't know. I'd pick, like, I don't know, somebody who was, like, more of a tough guy. You know? Somebody who was going to do, like, kind of voice. But, yeah. I guess I could overlook it if I want to support Chris Pratt. But it kind of irks me he's in it. Then there's Air. About Air Jordan. Ever see a movie about a shoe? That's the movie. It's how they put together Air Jordan. Ardent, did Bob Hoskins doing movie with Jet Li Unleashed? I'm sorry, I already read that. Sorry, I'm a little punchy today. The dog I explained early in the stream. Dog, I have a guest dog here. Kept me up all night. Every few hours woke me up to go out to the bathroom. I got up 5 times. I'm fried. That's why I'm drinking tons of iced tea. Anyhow, this Air movie, I could tell this is like a corporate movie where all the corporate guys are really excited they're making the movie, but is really, I think, a dumb idea. I think it's a stupid idea, but it's not a stupid idea from their perspective because, again, it's another 2-hour commercial about a product. That's what Mario Brothers is, and Air. And so Air screenwriter Alex Convery on the stress of awaiting Michael Jordan's blessing and how Viola Davis became the protagonist. Yeah, that's a real mystery. You got an A-list actor who's the perfect age and look for Michael Jordan's mother, and you're doing the movie, and you're not going to cast her. Yeah, it's not a mystery. They're trying to put Viola Davis in everything right now. Ardent. So I came in late. Doing the Sunday stream a day early? Yeah, because tomorrow's Easter, and I'm doing Easter things, and there was going to be a huge conflict. I was either going to have to do it like, you know, I don't know, like 11 a.m. to be done in time, or I'd have to do it at, I'm not going to be back until like, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock, so I'm doing like a family thing. So I just figured, I'll do it today. And it's working out pretty good, except that I'm fried. I didn't plan on being fried. I didn't even have to get up early. That's the sad thing. I did Geek Fest today, but my panel wasn't until 2 o'clock. So I could sleep pretty well. I didn't set my alarm until 11, because I did want to get up, have lunch, and sort of get my head together for the talk. But the dog effed me on sleep. And then tonight, I'm freaking out because I got guest dog here. I'm freaking out that she's going to pee everywhere. And she already did. She already peed on a rug, which I'm going to have to throw away. I'm going to save it for the weekend because I might as well let her pee on it some more. But I'm drying it out now. And, but I might as well keep it around for a pee pad until she goes back home on Tuesday. And so after that, right in the trash. Dogs, once they pee on something, it's theirs. And it's, oh, this is where I pee now. Joan's done that to a bunch of throw rugs I've had. And, oh, Joan, she infuriated me one day. I had been in and out. When I do my barbecue, I have a barbecue in the back, and I grill things all the time. So I'm running in and out, and Joan will follow me. She gets all excited. And about a week ago, she got so excited. And this was like the 4th or 5th time we had been in or out. And she peed on the rug right outside, right at my back door. Like right in front of me. And I'm like yelling at her, no, 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 outside, outside. And she got too excited and peed. Just so annoying with dogs. And now I don't know how long before she does that again. But I cut off access to that room, so hopefully that rug I can salvage. I sprayed a bunch of stuff on it, and it doesn't, like, you can't see a stain on it. The other one in the front room that guest dog peed on, it's done. It's freaking done. I don't even know if it's dry now. I have to go outside and check the rug after this. I may just throw it right into the trash tonight. I don't know if it's still damp. The worst is when you step in it. That's the worst. I'm walking around in my socks and I'm wet spot. Son of a bee. So anyhow, that's the life of having a dog. Peeing everywhere. I don't mind the poop so much because at least you can pick that up and throw it away. If I have to pick one, I'd rather have the poop. Quite frankly, the pee just runs along the floor. I got hardwood floors in most of the house, so it's just like it's not just a puddle, it's like a long puddle where it decides to run across the room like 3 feet. So I've got this line of pee that if I don't see it, it's like boop right in it with my sock, and then it's like no, my sock. Anyhow, so this air, I have zero interest in seeing it. I mean, it takes place in the 80s. It's like, who the heck wants to see this? Like the interesting story about how they put a product together. This is the kind of thing they could put together in a documentary. They don't need Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in it, and Viola Davis. But this is what passes for a movie. Now, it opened this weekend, I think. Yeah, because they said it did like 2.3 million. That wasn't even on the list I just looked at. Yeah, that wasn't even on the list. Air's not even on here yet. So, it's not doing great. Is Air on the list here? Let me see if I can look it up. There it is. It's already done 5.7 million. Let's see. Since the 4th. What was the 4th? So it opened earlier in the week. Yeah, I don't think it's going to do giant numbers. And that doesn't sound like enough money. For Viola Davis, Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon, I wouldn't even cover those 3. I gotta figure. Even if you paid them, like, something reasonable. Like, I think that would barely cover them. But, I don't know. This is probably a new trend in movies. Making movies about product. Probably because, I gotta think, Nintendo would have some money in the Mario Brothers movie, or they would either throw some money to it or have some investment in it. or get a licensing fee or whatever. Same thing with Air, right? Same thing with the, I don't know what team Michael Jordan was on in the beginning because it takes place when he was very young. Was he on the Bulls in the beginning? I don't know sports. Ardent, also, it was my first of 3 birthdays of the year yesterday. You have 3 birthdays? Were you born 3 times? Are you the Holy Trinity? That's weird. First of 3 birthdays. My ex used to have birthday week, birthday month. Yeah, it got out of control. It was like Pride Day, and how it snowballed into a month. I was like, I'm not buying you any more stuff. And people wonder why I'm divorced. Anyhow, let's get into the Star Wars stuff. Oh my God, the Star Wars stuff that dropped this week. I assume you guys are all spun up on it, but in case you're not, it was Star Wars Day, I guess yesterday or the day before, I forget. And to celebrate that fact, Disney decided to drop a bombshell that basically lets you know that Star Wars ain't coming back, in my view. So, first, they announced, with Kathleen Kennedy in tow, that they are doing 3 more Star Wars movie with Rey. Ardent. Oh, wait. I skipped one. Ardent. I was born on Good Friday, which because of the church calendar and the solar calendar never lines up again until I'm 71. So that's 2. Plus, I also celebrate in July on my Chinese calendar conception. Because why not? Okay. Oh, here's Stormy. Hi, Stormy. He just wants all the birthdays. Ha, LOL. Yes. Ardent. Yeah, we're up to Pride season here in Canada. Pride season. Yes. It's about 3 months long. Anyhow, so Star Wars. Now we're gonna have 3 more movies starring Rey, the, for my money, least popular Jedi, except amongst, I don't know, movie executives. Yeah, there's a handful of people that like Rey. Mostly they have little girls who like Rey. But again, little kids don't have much of a discernment for talent or movies. They just like anything you take them to, basically. So, sure, I can see there are a bunch of little girls out there that love Rey and love dressing up as Rey, and are, that's all very exciting for them. The adults that are into it disturb me a little bit. Ardent. The least popular Jedi except amongst the morons, yes. It's you know, they're doing with Rey what they should have done with Luke Skywalker. They should have brought back Mark Hamill, and the movie should have been about how he was rebuilding the Jedi and training new Jedi and was a Jedi Master, and instead they're going to do it with Rey. Sickening, stupid. I hope they lose every dollar they put into it. And as I said in my video yesterday, just as the right-wingers are boycotting Bud Light in an attempt to do what the left does, they're going to try to boycott Bud Light and stick on Anheuser-Busch until they like break under the pressure. They want to cripple them so badly that everybody remembers it. And once they're done with that, then move on to the next boycott, whatever it is, until they stop doing all this woke crap. I say the nerd community should do the same thing to Star Wars. We should start with Star Wars and boycott it. I think it's the appropriate thing to do. It'll cause nerds a lot of pain, but I think at this point, I think it's more worth your time than not. I mean, what are you losing? Are you losing Ahsoka? So what? Look, I just watched the trailer. I actually recorded a screenwriter's rant for it, but I deleted it because all I did was complain about it, and I just felt, I don't even want to give this movie attention. It doesn't look bad, but story-wise, it's nothing to me. It's literally nothing. Oh, the Empire. What is the Empire now? I don't know when it takes place. It'll take place late Empire, after the movie. The only way I had to navigate Star Wars is gone. The characters are gone. The midichlorians ruined everything in my view, even before everybody went woke. I don't know why people are hanging on. On top of that, now you've got 3 new Rey movies. You've got the Acolyte coming out. And the biggest slap in the face is the Mandalorian's going to hell. Completely gone to hell. I've been seeing the clips. They had Grogu jumping up and down, the little puppet that it is. Like he's about... I don't even know what a Mandalorian is anymore. Because now there's like 1 million of them. They're apparently the new, affront for Star Wars fans is they're apparently easing Pedro Pascal out of the Mandalorian in order to focus on Bo-Katan. I don't know that character at all, as the new Mandalorian, because, as always, Disney is replacing every single male character with females. Ardent, the best Mandalorians were in the Republic Commandos books by Karen J. Travis. Yeah, and God forbid they adapt one of the many books they paid for. I mean, they paid $1 billion for Star Wars. That included the books, I assume. I think that included everything. You're not going to adapt the books, the popular books that everybody would be waiting for? Although now they're starting to trot out some of the characters, but people are complaining, oh, that doesn't look right, or that's off, or whatever. I'm just done with it. I don't know how people can even watch Star Wars. It's such nonsense. And then the Jack Black Lizzo episode. If you haven't seen that, Jesus Christ, what an S show. So they put Lizzo the singer, and Jack Black. Now I didn't even recognize Lizzo when I watched the clip. I just thought, oh, she's not a very good actress, and I didn't even want to say that in my trailer. I don't like to, insult actresses, because I thought, oh, maybe she's an actress and they cast her not because of her talent, but because they wanted a heavyset black woman in the scene, and maybe that's not totally her fault. So I went easy on her, and then later it was like, oh, that's Lizzo, and I'm like, that's Lizzo? I didn't even recognize her. So they put Lizzo in Star Wars, no business being in there. Jack Black, I guess to prop her up, not doing his Jack Black thing at all. And it's just a ridiculous scene. Every second of it is excruciatingly bad. Who watches this? And they just spout a bunch of gobbledygook. Oh, and Christopher Lloyd's in it too, sadly. Sadly, trying to lift the whole scene by himself. Jack Black's just sitting off in the corner doing it, smiling. Jack Black is lucky he's in the Mario Brothers movie, because this embarrassment will go away for him because he's in the Mario Brothers movie. Lizzo, I think, if there was any sense in Hollywood, that they would be like, oh, we can't cast her anymore. Christopher Lloyd, he's fine. He's where he is in his career. He just pops up every once in a while. So yeah, Star Wars is just beclowning itself over and over again. It appears that Kathleen Kennedy is still around, still working on it. And then the big rumor from Doomcock and his associate is that they're going to sell off Lucasfilms. Now, if they're going to sell off Lucasfilms, I'm not sure what that means for Star Wars, because they're obviously not going to sell Star Wars, right? They couldn't sell Star Wars, but the question is, does Lucasfilm get part of Star Wars? Are they going to sell off part of Star Wars? Are people going to be able to do, like, some Star Wars stuff outside of Disney? That doesn't sound like a very good move if that's the case, because instantly anybody else will probably do a better Star Wars, where it's going to be like some weird thing like at Amazon where when Amazon bought the index of the Lord of the Rings to make a show. Oh, let's buy the table of contents for War and Peace. Then we'll make a show out of it. It's like, why would you buy that? It makes no sense. Hey, we just bought the back cover of a Stephen King novel. Let's make a movie out of that. Hey, I bought a matchbook cover. It's from a bookstore that used to contain good books. Oh, yeah, let's make a movie. I don't... Doesn't make any sense. Anyhow, Star Wars is, in my view, it's dead. It's dead anyway. They gave you a taste of what could have been with Filoni and Favreau. But now it looks like Favreau is out and Filoni is out, maybe. But then Filoni is talking about some new movies. But if that's the way they went with The Mandalorian, is that what you really want? I don't think you do. I don't know. Maybe Favreau is out and Filoni's still in and he's just going along with it for paycheck or whatever. Whatever it is, I'm so out. I couldn't be more out. But I was out during the prequels. After Phantom Menace, I just went... done. And hold on, I'm blowing up. Okay. Yeah, it's I think it's over. Here's another headline. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy on Daisy Ridley's new Rey film, Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2, and Rian Johnson's Star Wars future. I mean, those three things right there ought to make you go, done. It doesn't sound like she's out. It sounds like they're giving her one last chance to make money, and she's agreed to it, but I wouldn't trust her. With all this stuff she's done to Star Wars, all she's going to do, in my view, is she's just going to be better at hiding it. So she's going to do things like, oh, we'll give them a good first season of The Mandalorian or second season, and then we'll switch to a female, or we'll pull the rug out in front from them and then add people of color, and we'll just change out the characters. Once we bring them in, then we'll just swap out the characters and they can't complain, right? No, I say boycott the whole thing. Boycott it all. Let it go down in flames. Now, what that'll probably mean is Disney won't make any Star Wars for a long time. But they won't sell it. They'll say, because it doesn't make any sense to sell it unless they're totally desperate and they have to. So what they'll hopefully do is just put it away until they're not woke anymore. And then they'll probably do a reboot and start the whole thing over and hopefully fix it. Maybe after George Lucas is dead. I don't know. But it wouldn't just be saving Star Wars. It wouldn't really save Star Wars. You can't save Star Wars. But what it would do is it would send a strong message to the studios from the fans. You can't totally do this. Like, I get it. You can't listen to the fans. Like, you want to hear the fans. You don't want to obey the fans. But you don't want to tell them to go F themselves either. So there's a balance to be achieved there. And that balance is way off at Disney. Disney is like, oh, no, we're social engineering you and you will like it. No, that's unacceptable. We have to, I think, break Disney. And the one way to break them would be to just completely stop doing Star Wars stuff. Stop buying it. Let the whole thing collapse. And force Iger out, essentially. Because if that collapses, he may very well just close it down. Sell it off. So what Doomcock said, and his associate, that they are putting budget limits on the Marvel movies. And what that signaled to them was, because they're putting limits on the Marvel movies, they care about them and they still want them to succeed. Whereas they're not doing that for Lucasfilms. They're just kind of not talking about it. And so that indicated to them that they may sell Lucasfilms altogether. And again, I'm not sure what that means for Star Wars in particular. I would think they would want to keep it. So, yeah, I think people need to, the nerds, the fandom, need to say F you to Star Wars and completely abandon it, let it collapse, and then probably do the same thing to Star Trek. That's another franchise that's completely gone. There's nothing left of it. What are you going to get at this point? They've completely gutted it and rebooted it, rebooted it. You'd be better off sending them this message, letting them kill this show, because worst case scenario, they kill the show and maybe they do a new show that's halfway decent. And maybe they do something else based on a book and actually, I don't know, follow the book. I know, it's crazy, right? Oh, you're going to follow a book that was popular, that people bought and loved? I don't know. I thought we'd, do a book about, I don't know, robots and change the robots to vampires, because that makes sense. This is Hollywood. I'll tell you about my personal experience. I was trying to get Superfrat made into a movie. And I'm talking to the producers who are developing the movie. Now, all their suggestions weren't horrible, I'll say. For instance, I think I could tell you this now. I don't have anything signed, so I think I could tell you everything, but they were at one point talking to the guys, or talking about, I shouldn't say they were talking to, they were talking about the guys from Workaholics to be in Superfrat, which would have been perfect, by the way, because they're very funny. They were the right age at the time. But Ardent, yeah, it would be better to see all these woke sci-fi franchises die than try to create new one. Next thing they'll try to wokeify is Warhammer. Oh, wait, yeah. So, Superfrat is a pretty simple concept. It's about a bunch of crazy frat brothers who get superpowers, except one, and they're incredibly irresponsible with the superpowers. I mean, that's the whole joke. It's Animal House meets the Justice League. That's it. That's all it is. It literally writes itself, right? So they wouldn't let me write the screenplay. They got these guys, and my feeling is the producer had a heavy hand in what their pitch should be, and he made it very clear to them he didn't like fraternities, which I was just like, what? So the pitch was basically deconstructed the fraternity. They weren't really in a fraternity. And I was like, that's kind of the whole thing, right? That I mean, you just heard the pitch. There's not much more to it than that. And they took the fraternity out. And I said, why would you do that? And then they didn't read the comic, which was a huge problem. So they made up new names and characters and superpowers, and I was like, no, do the comic, because they're all written, they're all ready to go. And they literally started pitching my own ideas back to me at one point, because some of them were pretty obvious. And it got worse from there, I'll say. So that's what Hollywood is. It's everybody trying to make a name for themselves. That's why you have nipples on the Batman costume. Because Joel Schumacher said, I put nipples on the Batman costume, famously, I believe. So, this is what Hollywood does. It ruins things. The only way it didn't ruin things, like it didn't ruin Harry Potter, right? Why? Well, because J.K. Rowling's alive, and she had a huge hand in it. And she had an investment in it. So she was there to say, no, you can't do that. Yes, you must cast nothing but British actors in Harry Potter. She actually made that pronouncement. And she's going to be involved with the HBO reboot show, where they're going to reboot it all again. And I think she's kind of involved in the Hogwarts Legacy show as well. So that's why Harry Potter is pretty good, pretty close to the books. Because whenever someone on set goes, well, should we do X? There's J.K. Rowling's number, and you can call her, and she can go, no, or yes, maybe, let me think about it, or whatever. So if you're going to do the Pineys and cut me out of it, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I should be there. I should be the one who says yay or nay. Because you need that guy. Because without it, all it is a fight to put nipples on the Batman costume. That's all it is. It's a fight between various people who work at a company trying to get more money. So, that's it. If you wonder why things are so terrible, it's because somebody at one of these writing meetings said, "Ooh, I have an idea, it's this." And in the meeting, it might have sounded like a good idea. Except, none of the people in the meeting gave a crap, for instance, about the comic book it was based on, or the book, or whatever it was based on. They just didn't care. They only cared about their ego, their money, their prestige, their exposure, or whatever. So, that's why you get these terrible, terrible things. When it's supposed to be, Wheel of Time. That was another one they effed up. And I called it. I called that one. And I didn't even know Wheel of Time. I had heard of the book, but I had not read it. And, oh man, people got mad in the comments. And then a few weeks later, it was like, ooh, you were right on this. You don't have to be Nostradamus to see these things. It's pretty obvious what Hollywood's doing now. The only thing I can think of in recent memory that seemed to be translated well was Jack Reacher. That seemed to be translated correctly. And I haven't read the books, but it was translated pretty well, and I really enjoyed that first season, boy. I can't wait for the second one. Meanwhile, like, you couldn't pay me to watch Star Trek. Star Trek has to go. I would love to see it revamped before William Shatner dies so we could get him back in for a cameo, but I think the process in removing it from the corporate morons over at CBS, that's going to take time. It's going to take time. It would have to die. And unfortunately, it's been so long. It's been long enough now. You have generations of people, of fans, that think they're fans of Star Trek. And they are. They're fans of the new Trek because they don't know what the old Trek was like at all. And, it's like being a fan of, something stupid like The Big Bang Theory. I think it's a stupid show. It's tropey. It's the tropiest nerd show ever invented. I hate it. But weirdly enough, a lot of my family members love that show. They think it's the funniest thing ever. But they don't watch a lot of TV. It's just a very simple, stupid sitcom. So, it's just, it's an insanely popular show. I think it was the same guy who made 2.5 Men, which I do like, which is a remake of a BBC show. At least I liked it when Charlie Sheen was on the show, before that whole thing. Anyhow, getting back on topic, movies, Star Wars. Yeah, let's just ban it. Let's just ban it and see what happens. Disney is in a weakened position. It would send a very strong message to them in particular, and they seem to determined. They're just determined to make everything woke. Super woke. Like, look what they're doing to The Mandalorian, and I guarantee you they're going to do the same damn thing to The Last of Us. I think that's coming. It's going to hit people like a fan in the face. And they're going to be like, what? And I'll be like, how could you not see this coming? You already had it happen once. They can't quite follow the second game, but they're going to come close, I think. I think in some ways they're going to make it even worse. Because they're not going to kill Joel. I think they're going to just emasculate him in ridiculous ways. So, what else we got going on here? Here's a funny headline from Variety. Emily Ratajkowski quit acting. Then why even cover it, Variety? Like, who cares? Who cares who quit Hollywood? Emily Ratajkowski, I guess she's a model. I don't know. I've heard her name. Her biggest claim to fame for me is she was banging Eric Andre for a few weeks. And Eric Andre, the comedian, couldn't believe his luck. And he was taking pictures of it and selfies of it himself with her. And you could see from the expression on his face, like, I can't believe I'm banging the chick this hot. But listen to this. Emily Ratajkowski quit acting, fired her team because Hollywood is effed up. I felt like I was a piece of meat who people were judging. This is a woman who posts like bikini Instagrams of herself like every other day and bragged about banging Eric Andre. Ardent, though I woke stuff is baked in when it comes to The Last of Us. Oh, the woke stuff was baked in when it comes to The Last of Us. Oh no, I think it's going to get worse. I think they're going to double and triple down on it. But yeah, it is baked in. But I think they want to keep Pedro Pascal, so they can't kill him. So instead, they're just going to emasculate him, and then they're going to really go off the rails in terms of the story, I think. But I don't even know who this Emily chick is, but I just find it hilarious that she's even in Variety. It's stupid autocorrect. Here's Variety about Dylan Mulvaney, everybody. Bud Light partnership with Transtar. She's a Transtar, everyone. Dylan Mulvaney props backlash from conservative artists. No, Variety. It's backlash from everybody who's sane. Everybody but the people who are so woke. They're like, you people are triggered by a beer. You're such weirdos. Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't be triggered at all if we put, I don't know, Trump 2024 on your soy lattes. Yeah, that wouldn't be triggering at all, would it? I'm Donald Trump for soy lattes. They're huge. I love me a good soy latte. When I go to Starbucks, I want nothing but soy. My Trump. I go back and forth with it. Sometimes I almost catch it, but yeah, it's woke-hearted in the extreme. But I'll note that the people who are upset about the whole Bud Light can things, they're not threatening to murder people or losing their damn minds online, as far as I know. But a lot of people lost their damn minds over Hogwarts Legacy. They threaten people over that thing. Ardent, oh God, every time I go to Starbucks now, and they ask me my name, and I'm going to say Trump. Yeah, make them say Trump 2024. That would be funny. Trump 2024, your coffee's ready, and then watch the whole room erupt. Like, what? What is happening? I'm trying to read the New York Times over here. I'm triggered. YouTube TV price hike. The latest sign virtual MVPDs are backfiring. No, what's backfiring is YouTube TV. No one gives an F about YouTube TV. Yeah, you can rent stuff. That's fine, but the TV, they tried for about 10 minutes to do some original shows. They did have one really good one. It was, what's his name? God, I can't think of his name now. He's a really funny comedian. Rob, I forget his last name. Oh, God, he was in The League. He was in a comedy show with, oh, God, I can't think of his name. Anyhow, it was really funny. It was a TV show called Do You Want to See a Dead Body? And every episode started with him meeting up with usually another minor celebrity or comedian and telling them you want to see a dead body. And then they'd go see it. It was a different dead body every time. It was a really funny show. I think the implication was he was murdering all those people, but I'm not sure. Jeremy Renner uses motorized scooter to join family at Six Flags as snowplow recovery continues. Wow, he's in a chair. They had a animated GIF of him and how he got sucked under the snowplow. It was rough, man. He got hurt. Let's see. Think. WWE Endeavor deal to spark more layoffs in media for some reason. Did you guys hear about this? WWE is merging with the UFC. I don't know what that's gonna mean. I'm not a wrestling guy at all. Uh, Ardent Rob Lowe. Nikki D is here. Welcome, Nikki D. I was just about to mention that animation. The style of it was pretty cool. What animation? What were we talking about? Oh, the animation of Jeremy Renner going underneath the snowplow. I guess it was on. I think it was on the New York Post. All right, let's go over to the Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter critics picked the 50 best films of the 21st century so far. I don't know, man. I'm just, I don't trust the Hollywood Reporter to get that right at all. HBO Max relaunch. Nikki D. The Renner one. Yeah, it was stylized like a pencil drawing on Daily Mail. Oh, okay, yeah, that was it then. Yep. Yeah, it was kind of cool now that I think about it. It was a good way to like illustrate what had happened because I think it had didn't have like a see-through version of the plow so you could see how he ended up underneath it. HBO Max relaunched the open questions ahead of Warner Brothers Discovery's next pivot. Probably I won't have HBO Max for free anymore, I'm guessing, but we'll see. Better not charge me for it, HBO Max. I ain't paying for that thing. I've watched it like 3 times. I watched some South Park on it. That's about it. Oh, right. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny action figures coming from Hasbro. All right. I know you'll want to get a Fleabag Indiana Jones, everybody. There's your Fleabag character. God, that looks terrible. Doesn't even look like a woman. What the hell? Is she wearing a diaper? It's terrible. She should look hot. She's supposed to be the eye candy in this damn movie. Indy looks fine. He just looks like Harrison Ford. And old. Helena Shaw. Boring. Boring. Have you guys seen the new Indiana Jones trailer? It's a slight improvement, I'll say. But it's still bad. It's still horrific. It still has way too much Helena in it. I mean, even a little bit is too much. However, the word is that they pivoted back to making Indy the main character of the film and letting him do most of the cool stuff, rather than trying to, I don't know, get Helena to do it. And the big news is supposedly, or the big rumor is, that Helena's not in half the movie anymore. Like, she actually gets, like, I don't know, kidnapped or something early in the movie, and you don't see her for most of the run, and then she comes back in the end, and Indy saves her. So, yeah, hooray. And she's not the new Indiana Jones, thank God. What a way to end a fucking, pardon my language, franchise. But, my God. So the rumors flying about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I still think it's gonna suck. It still looks boring, but it looks slightly better, I'll say. And they have young Indiana Jones running around too, and young Mad Mikkelsen is in both time zones. And the Dial of Destiny is basically a time travel thing. It's dumb, I think. It's very dumb. But they spent so much on that damn movie. You talk about a movie that's good luck making its money back. I don't know. I don't think so. But they may have at least partially saved it because of Doomcock's efforts. That Kathleen Kennedy's attempt to completely ruin it. I guess it'll be maybe about as good as the last Indiana Jones movie, which wasn't very good. Like, it'll be kind of watchable in parts, and then some of it'll just be like, what? Stupid. I guess. Yeah, it's another franchise they really need to just put aside for a while. Just put it aside until Harrison Ford dies or whatever, and you could reboot it, I guess, if you gotta do it. But I mean, how much? Look, in the 80s, you could sort of look back at the 40s and say, well, that happened. That happened a while back. You know, there are people still around who remembered it. You know, people from the greatest generation, that kind of thing. And you'd be like, oh, okay, World War II stuff, whatever. You know, I was a kid in the 80s. So people going to see that wasn't totally out of the question. Now it's 2023. That we're coming up on almost 100 years ago at this point. Some of the scenes from Indiana Jones did take place 100 years ago. So it's getting further and further away that people can even go, what the hell happened? They don't remember stuff. People are ignorant of history and all kinds of things. So I think it's time to maybe move on. Nikki D, the Plinkett review of Crystal was as good as the Star Wars ones. Oh, really? I have to check that out. Ardent, apparently Harrison Ford's supposed to be playing the Red Hulk in some upcoming Marvel. Yes, he is. Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull, you mean? Okay. The Plinkett review of Crystal Skull is as good as the Star Wars one. I'll have to check that one out. I don't think I saw that one. But in terms of Harrison Ford, yes, he is playing Thunderbolt Ross. He has replaced, I forget, what was the name of the actor? You know who the guy I mean, I can't think of his name. He replaced him, and he will be the Red Hulk. So they're going to CGI Harrison Ford. You know, it's bizarre to me that Harrison Ford still wants to be in movies like this. Because you'd think, once you hit 80, you'd either A, just retire with your tens of millions of dollars. And Harrison Ford's worth over $100 million, I think. Like, he doesn't need any money. He couldn't spend it all if he tried. So, even like, I don't know, having two, three, four mansions and a very high-end lifestyle, how much longer is he going to live? Does he own an airport? What? He doesn't need the money. Okay, so why is he doing these movies that aren't even like, you know, the movie he wants to do, quote unquote? You're telling me he wants to do William Hurt? Thank you, Ardent. You telling me he's like sitting at home going, oh man, call up Marvel. I want to play the Red Hulk. No, I don't think so. He's an actor. I would think he'd want to do, I don't know, some cool acting thing where he plays some character from history, or I don't know, some project he's always wanted to do. Where's that? I don't see it with him. Is he just collecting money to have money? It's weird to me. If I was worth the kind of money he was worth, I'd be making my own films. Why would he even? Maybe I'd show up in Hollywood if you could cut this sort of deal, and they do sometimes. Like, okay, I'll appear in an MCU movie, but you have to give me, worldwide distribution for my small film about a guy who's, I don't know, living in the Arctic for 10 years or whatever. Something like that, right? That's usually the way it works in Hollywood. I'm going to make this tiny little movie about a guy who, I don't know, collects stamps, and he dies poor and alone, and nobody wants to see this movie, so I'm going to need you, Disney, to give me worldwide distribution so people go see it and see my amazing acting. Like, that's normally what they kind of do. I don't see that from Harrison Ford. Like, why the hell is he the Red Hulk? It doesn't make any sense. Why the hell is he doing Indiana Jones again at 80? It's kind of embarrassing at this point. To what? To just be emasculated in the movies before he goes? And again, I think they cut most of that out. But still, after what they did to Han Solo and the Blade Runner character, how much more? I don't know. It's bizarre to me. Bizarre. And the Red Hulk thing is like icing on the cake bizarre. Like, what was he gonna? Is he gonna do a turn in the DC universe too? Is he gonna play, I don't know, Superman's father or something? What? Doesn't make any sense that he, in your 80s, you don't want to retire in your 80s. You're worth $100 million. You don't want to retire. So bizarre to me. You can do whatever you want. Literally whatever he wants. If he wants to go to a volcano for the weekend, that's not a problem. When you're worth $100 million, right? All right, which volcano you want to go to? We're going. We're going to go see a volcano. Whatever he wants. Anything. I want to see two human beings fight to the death. I'm pretty sure he could arrange it if he wanted to. If he wanted to. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying he could. I don't know. I want to eat woolly mammoth. You know, that giant, they cloned a woolly mammoth and they made the meat. I don't know how healthy it is, but he could be like, yep, I'm going to do that this weekend. I'm going to go and I'm going to get the Iron Chef to cook it. I'm going to get the Iron Chef to cook woolly mammoth meat for me that they cloned. And I'm going to invite all my friends as well. And maybe we'll videotape it. And do a TV show while we're doing it, or maybe not. And I'm going to go to the best restaurant in France at the same time at the top of, I don't know, some mountain somewhere. I mean, he could do all that. Whenever he wants. Instead, no, I'd rather be the Red Hulk. I'd rather be the Red Hulk. You know, that's more important. I could spend my money on, I don't know, helping to cure cancer. Maybe take people from East Palestine and move them to a state that wasn't horribly polluted. You know, think of all the things he could do with all his money. I'm going to be the Red Hulk. That's more important to me. Now that I got to be the Red Hulk before I die. I want people to remember me as the Red Hulk. Not as Harrison Ford, but as the Red Hulk. Not as the guy who saved East Palestine, but as the Red Hulk. Not as the guy who cleaned up New York City by hiring a security force to just go in there and clean up all the crime. No, I don't want to do that. I want to be the Red Hulk. I amuse myself. Well, someone has to. Here's a sad headline. Sex Life canceled at Netflix after 2 seasons. That can be interpreted 2 ways. No, that's a TV show. I don't know. Netflix, man, their shows, they had a couple of good ones, but not many. I really enjoyed Altered Carbon. I thought that was pretty good. It was an interesting concept anyway. It was I think it was a little too heady to go mainstream, but it was a great concept. But unfortunately, I think it got caught up in Netflix starting to go woke and then backing off of it, and part of that hurt the show, I think. But it would have been a good series of novels, that's for sure. Let's see what's going on at Deadline. Pretty much the same stuff in Variety. If you're really into Hollywood stuff, the WGA is negotiating, trying to avoid a strike. There's rumors that there will be also a writer strike in the UK. You think things on TV and movies suck now? Wait until there's another strike. Remember the first season of The Next Generation? Oh, I do. What the F is this? I was watching it going, what the hell, man? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's still horrible. Oh my God. The first season of Star Trek Next Generation, brutally bad. Absolutely brutal. That's what happens when the writers go on strike. The producers write things. And you have long scenes of the ship docking. Number 1, we're going to dock the ship. I'll dock it, sir. Good job, number 1. Thank you, Captain. Okay, let's do this. All right, I'm getting ready to dock the ship. That's the kind of dialogue producers write. Or rather, people who don't know how to write scripts, I'll say. Let's see. Deadline's Most Valuable Blockbuster Movie Tournament. Number 5, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. No thanks. Ardent, I remember the second season of Heroes. I do not. Was it like that? Tales of the Jedi. Cheese is another one. Tales of the Jedi series will have a season 2. Dave Filoni says at Star Wars Celebration. Was that stupid show where there was a bunch of animated Jedi things? That did not look good to me. UK performance of The Bodyguard halted twice by crowd sing-along disturbances. Okay. Weren't they singing along with the song? Like, why would that disturb people? It's weird. Unruly patrons wouldn't stop singing along with the musical The Bodyguard, according to a report. So, if they're singing along with it, I don't understand how that would disrupt anything. Unless they were so off-key and sang the wrong words, I guess maybe. Ardent, yeah, there was a writer strike right in the middle of, Heroes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember that. I didn't watch Heroes. I was kind of like right on the cusp of watching it, and then I didn't watch the first episode, and I was like, some of it looked cool, I guess. Oh, and the other big story this week, I think it was this week it started, Disney's pushback on the whole Ron DeSantis thing, if you've been following that. So, Nikki D, they probably sung it better. I couldn't stand Whitney Houston music myself. Anyhow, Ron DeSantis lowered the boom on Disney for getting involved in politics. Disney had this deal with the local government that they would basically take over the job of the local government. So they would essentially, I think, be the police and fire department, and I think even the post office, because they literally owned so much land. In some ways it was easier for them to do that. But they also got an enormous tax break and a few other things. So DeSantis is pulling that out. But at the last minute, Disney did some legal maneuver where they had like a separate board that actually did the government stuff. And at the last minute, Disney went in and, rewrote the rules and moved the power to something within the company that was different, so that the Florida law wouldn't apply, and they essentially still have the power. So Ron DeSantis this week not only is taking them to court over it, he's also threatening to add toll roads on the way to Disney and basically jam them up using government. So, which will be easy for him to do. Because, first off, the toll roads will piss off everybody. Secondly, there's a bunch of tax breaks that I guess Disney still gets, which I don't think they have to give it to Disney. And third, and most important, like, states are like the entities, when you build stuff, you have to get all sorts of approval from them. So the state doesn't have to give it to you. They can reject it for a million reasons and halt production forever, essentially. And you could sue them, but they're the state. There's like a million reasons they could tell you not to build something. And you could take them to court, but if the state is determined to not grant you those permits, they can pull the same thing Disney just pulled, which is, okay, you've taken us to court, and the judge says we have to give you a permit. Oh, but guess what? We just passed a new law saying that you need a second permit, or we just noticed there's an old law that you didn't obey, so we're going to fine you so much money a day until you do X, Y, and Z, and we have to delay your permit. And there's just on and on and on in legalese. They could jam up Disney forever. They'll never build another thing ever again while paying enormous sums of taxes for the privilege. So I don't know why Disney did this. Everything about it is so stupid because all Disney had to do was say, you know what? We're not going to get involved in politics, and then do it anyway, or just back off. They could have just said something like, well, we can't totally back off of what we did, but we'll back off of politics a little bit, and because they were going to do that anyway. In fact, Iger's plan is to, at least on its surface, back off of politics and try to deliver the messages in a much more subtle way. It's a little late to put that genie back in the bottle, but it'll make sense to anybody who's new to Disney, I guess. But yeah, I mean, to go head to head with the Florida government, that sounds like a really dumb idea. What else we got going here? More Star Wars, more Mario Brothers. And that's about it. All right, moving. Oh, this was a crazy story this week. Laurie Benatti, who's a singer, she performed on stage while experiencing a miscarriage. That's crazy, but that's an actual thing. I talked about this a few days ago. The Rolling Stones, when they did "Give Me Shelter," the backup singer for Mick Jagger was pregnant at the time, and she may have given herself a miscarriage because of the way she sang. It's an actual thing because it all comes from the diaphragm or whatever, and she apparently miscarried, and they partially blame it on the way she had strained her diaphragm during the singing. So that's crazy. That's a real thing. Over at Bounding in the Comics, Kathleen Kennedy spins new narrative for Star Wars: quality is always everything. Yeah, sure. You gonna sell me a bridge too, Kathleen? I don't think so. Lucasfilms announces new Star Wars film focused on Daisy Ridley's Rey. Appears she will continue to completely supplant Luke Skywalker's story. So look forward to that. This was weird. I didn't even know this was a thing, but Impact Wrestling star Giselle Shaw claims industry legend Rick Steiner hurled transphobic insults at WrestleCon 2023. I didn't know they had instituted a trans wrestler in one of these wacky wrestling leagues. Bizarre, stupid. Again, they don't know their audience. And of course, The Little Mermaid actually got more woke. If you thought it was stupid enough that they made it a live-action movie at all, if you thought it was uber woke that they race swapped the main character and said a bunch of stuff to laying the groundwork to call anybody a racist who didn't go see this thing, they actually edited the songs and some of the words in the songs. Because people might be triggered about songs from a cartoon mermaid. Yeah. Oh, and John Leguizamo refuses to watch the Super Mario Brothers movie. You stole my culture, John. You're not Italian. Shut up. Over at Cosmic Book News, James Mangold confirms the Thing movie. Ew. That sounds like it's going to be awful. Sounds like it won't be based on Alan Moore stuff. I don't think they could do Alan Moore stuff anyway, quite frankly, but just another IP on the pile. Okay, we talked about all that. More on Super Mario Brother. Taika Waititi has been a little slow with his Star Wars project, Kathleen Kennedy says. It's another guy I very disappointed in. I would rather not see his Star Wars project ever come to fruition. I would rather see him go back to doing comedies, but sure. Why don't you wreck another thing? I mean, this is a guy who's openly talked about wrecking your mythos, baby. Wheel of Fortune fans furious with Pat Sajak after contestant loses $100,000 prize. They have been picking on Pat Sajak for a while now. Almost every other day in the New York Post, there's another headline either about Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, and for some reason they're mad at Pat Sajak. I don't know why. The guy's about to retire. He's in his 70s. He's been hosting the show forever. I don't know why now they've chosen to pick on him, other than maybe they've decided the only way they could remove him from the show and replace him is to tarnish his reputation so bad on the way out that people go, yes, we finally need a new host. It doesn't make any sense to me. He could just pass the torch to somebody he picked, and it would be fine. Alex Trebek practically passed it to Ken Jennings, and although he really, I don't know, he hosted some sort of contest, and I don't know, they go back and forth on Jeopardy, right, with the host. It's like, oh, Ken Jennings, oh, we're gonna Malik, what's her name, is gonna host, an actress. Why not let the guy who won the game host the damn show? It's supposed to be like a normal dude, like a boring dude who's super smart. Ken Jennings fits that bill. Nikki D, he's a Trump supporter. Is he? Is Pat Sajak a big Trump guy? I had no idea. I'd like to solve the puzzle. I guess you did. Trump 2024, Pat. That's correct. What did I win? You've won it. America's great again. And I think that's it. Those are all the headlines, I believe. Yeah. What time is it? All right. Just about time to wrap up, I think. So I appreciate you guys coming in for the early live stream. Final thoughts, if you have any. My final thoughts, happy Easter, number one. Spend time with family and friends, and if you can't, well, you can always go to see that religious movie. It's almost the same. Do something nice for yourself, I would say. Maybe go out and treat yourself to a nice meal or something. I'll be doing something with the fam tomorrow. I will be doing my regular videos, but they'll probably be either super late or super early whenever I get motivated. I don't know, probably super late, because I am ready to go to bed, like, right now. Ardent, take it easy, brother. Happy Chocolate Bunny Day. You too. Nikki D, thanks, man. Had a lot of fun with you on the Lotus Eaters. You and Sophie are the best. User-generated content there. Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you. Yeah, I got to get back there soon. I'm a little bit strapped for cash, but things went really well today. I sold a surprising number of books at Geek Fest, and I was only there for like an hour and 20 minutes. So things are looking up. I did, however, I think I finally broke my backdrop, and I have to get a new one, but that's another whole story. So what else is coming up this week? Not a whole lot. I'm not doing anything until next Saturday, and I'll be at the Pinelands. It looks like the Pinelands Library in Medford. It looks like. I don't know. I can never read my own handwriting on this calendar. And then the week after that, I'm doing 3, 4, 5 events all in the same week. That's going to be a crazy week. All my events show up on that week in April for some reason. So it should be a good time. So thanks for tuning in to the live stream. I'll say goodnight to the dogs for you. Tune in next week, Sunday. No, Sunday looks free. There's no Easter next Sunday. And we'll be doing the live stream on the regular day on Sunday at 7. Thanks for tuning in.